You came, and although that wasn't the primary objective, a lot of the stuff, the Tourette's that you experienced, fell into certain things. And over that year and a half, you did certain sourcing, certain methods, stuff like that, that allowed that, if you will, to lessen. And was at some point, as you recognized it, desirable, I imagine, to you, probably scary to you. So I imagine what happened is you went through, and when you recognized it had gone away, in part, not all the way, did you feel fear?
I actually felt the fear pretty early on in the process.
Right. Okay.
Well, actually...
So then we probably dealt with the fear.
Very early on.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the 5-day, and then I think a few weeks later I went and did the middle 5-day, and I think it's the second day, you look at fear.
Yeah.
And I worked with Nancy Salzman because all of a sudden, she had come into the intensive, and I didn't know this at the time, but because she knew that I was there, because I had Tourette's, and I'm sure she was curious about what was going on. And I thought I was going to do, one of the sourcings with her, one of the conversations with her, and I thought that in that conversation, my whole Tourette's was going to just evaporate into thin air. And right before the conversation, though, again, I didn't know this at the time, but I ended up going to the bathroom, and I started dry heaving, and all these things were happening because I decided that I was going to look at the fear of losing Tourette's. At some point I decided, you know what, maybe that would be a good fear. Just maybe it would be a good fear to look at. And I ended up having this huge reaction right beforehand.
The fear of the fear, in effect.
Yeah.
Because if you looked at the fear of losing Tourette's, you may lose it's very funny, these things are self-referential, and we handle those things. They're like tautologies almost. They, you have the fear of losing Tourette's, and then you have the fear of losing the fear. Most people have an attachment, or they have some sort of an issue, like I always say, they want the red Porsche. And if I'm a person that's really attached to having a red Porsche, and I come to someone to work that attachment, my internal processing, my internal loop sort of goes like this. I say, okay, I have an attachment to wanting a red Porsche, and I think I'm going to work that attachment. So if I work that attachment, it means I won't want the red Porsche. And if I don't want the red Porsche, then I may not get the red Porsche, because I may not even try to get the red Porsche. So then I'll never get the red Porsche. And I want the red Porsche. So I don't want to get rid of that fear. I don't want to get rid of that desire. I don't want to get rid of that attachment. So the attachment makes you attached to the attachment. If you're scared of losing Tourette's and then you're going in to work that fear, you'd be scared because what if the fear goes away? It brings up the same fear that you're removing. So we have ways of working that.
Yes. And obviously I wasn't even, maybe not obviously, even before I started the 5-day, I wasn't even aware that I had a fear of losing the Tourette's. But the 5-day had moved me so much, and I had enough shifts and began to have a certain level of self-awareness, very small level of self-awareness, that I realized that I did have some fear about it. And that was really the beginning of the journey of overcoming it.
It's one of the things that we strive to do, is help people build self-awareness, build what some people might even call a type of consciousness. Babies are not born self-aware. The theory of mind, which is interesting, when you watch how a child grows, their sense of self and having an independent mind of other people develops not only in the first few hours and weeks and months, but years of life. And what you find actually is human self-awareness continues to develop, and many, many adults are, there's a broad range of self-awareness. Some people that are not very self-aware at all, some people that are highly self-aware. Now understand, self-awareness and morality may have a flirtatious relationship, but they don't even go hand in hand. You have people who are not self-aware at all, who are just really pure innocent gems, and you have people who are highly self-aware that aren't very, very nice. So morality and the understanding of compassion and building compassion is another dimension that we strive to build. So we like to build compassionate self-awareness in people that want that. And there's some people who say, no, I don't want that. That's great, because it's not something that we want to foist upon people. But the advantages of being self-aware and the advantages of being more compassionate seem, for the most part, to outweigh any reluctance to go in that direction.
I would agree. I mean, as I've been doing this work for the past 6 years, that's been my experience. I mean, as you build more self-awareness slowly, life becomes better, life becomes richer, and specifically in the case with Tourette's, I've been able to become less reactive to my body, and I've been able to take more control in that way, which is incredible.
Well, thank you. I mean, well, you participate in it. So, as the thing grows, it's certainly grown far beyond what I initially conceived. And it's really a study for me and an ongoing learning process to grow this body of knowledge.